Before I talk about the Holy Womb Chakra, I want to just talk a very little bit about myself and my background and how I come to be sitting here on this beautiful Sunday afternoon in May of 2023 talking about this with all of you. Some of you know me and know a little bit of my story, but I want to tell it in the context of the womb knowledge. So when I was 18, I got very ill. Actually, when I was 17, I got very ill, and I ended up needing to drop out of college after my first semester. I was too ill to return. And after spending the winter at home with my family, which you could imagine was not where I wanted to be at that age, I decided instead of going back to school, I was still not well, to do a live-in apprenticeship with an herbalist in the Catskill Mountains of upstate New York. So I dropped out of college and headed up to the Catskills, and it turned out that the woman who I went to study with was a goddess worshiper, and that her entire center was devoted to the sacred feminine. And there was images of the sacred feminine everywhere, and all of the women that came were honored as emanations of the sacred feminine. And wow, that was a pretty deep cannonball into my 18-year-old consciousness. And I don't know that I ever said yes to anything as much in my life, and became a devotee of the mother at that time. And also was inspired to pray very deeply to the mother to help me with my own healing, which I was still very much struggling with. And one of the angles was I hadn't had a menses in 3 years. I was 18 and hadn't had a cycle in years. And I prayed to the mother to help me, and I promised that I would dedicate my life to serving her and to serving the divine feminine. And she did. She helped me, and she gave me what I needed to heal. And a lot of how she gave me that was by leading me on a path of study of different things that I could use to heal myself and then share with other women. So I became an herbalist and a doula and an acupuncturist, and was incredibly blessed to deeply dive into studying women's health and physiology and psyches, and to help thousands of women at different phases of life. So I worked with women around their cycles and fertility and pregnancy, birth, postpartum, perimenopause, menopause, all of the cycles of a woman's life, and learned so much about women and the power of women and the sacredness of every aspect of our lives and our cycles and the phases of our life. And was going along really beautifully, and then in my early 30s, I just graduated acupuncture school. I went through a very surprising and unexpected and painful breakup, kind of heart-shattering breakup. So for those of you on the call that have ever been through one of those, I think a lot of you have, you can fill in the blank. Don't need any details. I was heartbroken in a way that I never had been in my life, and really suffering emotionally, struggling. I had a 7-year-old son at the time. I was just struggling all angles and trying to start my acupuncture practice. And I had a friend who was a student of the saint who shared this knowledge with the world, and she said, I think you should do the Holy Womb Chakra because it helps with heartbreak. And I was at the time not particularly interested in studying with an Indian guru, but Holy Womb Chakra, I mean, I couldn't resist. My whole life was all things womb, and I was also desperate, to be perfectly honest. I was desperate, and nothing I was doing was bringing relief. So I agreed, and I learned some of the practices, and I did them, and they helped. They helped a lot, and they helped immediately, and they helped beyond what I had ever even understood help could be as a healer. So that started me on my next course of study, which was learning more about the mantras and about the knowledge that the Holy Womb Chakra was part of. So that journey has brought me 30 years later from when I made that promise to the mother to be given the great privilege of sitting here today sharing about her most secret knowledge with all of you. Because that is what the Holy Womb knowledge is. It's the secret knowledge of how the mother creates and how we can create like her and with her and for her. So I'm here as a teacher of this by being first a practitioner and someone who is healed by it, and then someone who is blessed to share this knowledge, because it also contains, not only do you heal yourself, then you can help others. So for the last 15 years since I learned it, I've been able to work with hundreds of women and mothers and teach the techniques and do the healings and give blessings in different ways. So I can really speak firsthand of the power of this knowledge. And while I treasure and love and I use all of the training that I've had, I can say that this knowledge is the most important and most direct way for women to heal themselves and to grow the sacred feminine energy on the planet and to grow the power of women on the planet. I will stand behind that as an advocate. So I really believe in it through my own experience and through the changes in the lives that I've witnessed. And I want every woman, especially every young woman, every mother, every partner, and also every man who wants to be in the right relationship with the sacred feminine and with women, with female power, to have access to this knowledge and the ability to do these practices in their lives. And I believe that that's also what the saint Sri Kaleshwar, who gave this knowledge to the world, that really is what he wanted. That anyone with any level of meditation background can do this, can learn it and can practice it